Hey guys, welcome back to Astro-Land. In today's episode I am working on the, third area. This would be called Argon Outpost. This would be my snowy planet. And in the snowy planet I built, it's inside, what's in Argon Outpost is a floorless coaster, a top scan, and a, shoot, what was the other ride? I should know this. A car ride, and a Skyfall tower, and I think that's it so far. I might not remember. Well, regardless, I'm watching it right here, so I will remind myself. So this was kind of a difficult situation. Well, I don't know if it's difficult. It was difficult positioning things how it is because the map is getting smaller and smaller as I add more stuff. And it's just getting more challenging to fill in what I want and what I want, details I wanted to put in. So I think a floorless coaster works out pretty well here. So I kind of just built it like exciting enough for me, or exciting enough for what I need. Also because with the monorail track in the way, I had to build the ride somewhat over it and somewhat a little bit. And I also wanted to mess around with some terrain and stuff, because adding some terrain to the land a little bit makes it a little bit more unique and interesting. The scenery theming for this land is like a scientific research facility or outpost, so a lot of inspirations came from Subnautica and some other like sci-fi-ish looking buildings for like a snow area. So I kind of just basically went like that. Just I don't know how to explain the style. The style is kind of like gray walls with circular towers and antennas, and more sloped roofs because it snows a lot. So no angled roofs, or flat roofs too, because you don't want flat roofs. So it's kind of basically like that. So I kind of just built the coaster first, and then I kind of built the scenery around it. This land had some issues because I put it in such a weird spot. The land was actually going to be smaller than it is right now, but I had to make a new pathway for a connecting pathway that connects to Capital City and then Argon Outpost, and then Argon Outpost connects to Nova Kingdom. So I had to make a secondary pathway that kind of goes under the map. I think it's cool that it went under the map, where it kind of went under the terrain that I built here. It works, and it's not as a bottleneck anymore, because when you make a land that's a bottleneck, the guests have to then turn around and go back to the same way they came, and that kind of makes the flow of traffic kind of wonky. So I try not to do that when you're trying to build lands or you're building a theme park. You want to give exits and stuff for your guests to go to, and that's kind of what I did here. So on to building the station first. So when it comes to building a new themed area, I usually build one thing first, like to get my experiments out of the way. So I'll experiment with different pieces and walls and colors and go for a basic idea of what the theme I'm going for. So in this theme I'm going for a sci-fi like science facility in the snow out, and then in the snowy planet, I don't even know the name of the planet because I don't think I have a name for it, but just experiment, and then after you get your bearings of building a building with different type of architecture, you can finally then build other buildings closely to it and matching it. Kind of how it should go. Kind of want to just slowly experiment and take your time. Don't rush yourself because of a deadline or something. I mean, I kind of have a deadline for this project a little bit, but I got all the time in the world now, apparently. So quickly on just building this science facility. It could be like the main science facility. The coaster itself has a name. I kind of made it a very generic name. I called it Icebreaker. So it's nothing like too crazy. I kind of took inspiration from the new coaster that's being built, I think, for SeaWorld Orlando. It's I forgot what the manufacturer is, but it's a type of coaster that goes it has a shuttle mode, but then it has a full circuit, so it's an interesting ride. I've been watching closely on that one, but that one's called Icebreaker too. That's kind of why I made it orange here, but I decided to change that color later. Over the doorways, I did the cylinder trick again to make it look like there's a roll-up door system on top. This is an antenna array that I'm building, kind of very simple pillars, and then these small little border pieces on the top of that, and I copied that I think 3 times with blueprinting. It's always a good way to blueprint to kind of get there. See, as the building takes shape, it starts like forming itself because I'm on like the groove of building stuff, and it's starting to look like a science facility. It's white wall and has the orange. I did some rock work here with the stone and did the snow effect on top. That would be you taking a giant stone, any stone size, and then the second stone has to be a smaller size so it could just fit right above it. I think this only works because of construction anarchy, because I can get really close with the leveling, but you can try it in vanilla. I don't think it would be as like best effect would be, because I think there would be like one giant pile of snow on top of it, but with construction anarchy it works really well. Right here, adding the details of piping. I always feel like when you're building a building, it like doesn't have its detail. So I tried doing details in the midst of construction, the main features, and then it starts showing its character. And then I can add stuff to it later, and I'm not just always imagining it in my head. It's kind of just becoming alive in front of you, and that's kind of the idea when building any structure or any like thing you're working on. Yeah, there's the copy and paste of the antenna. So the antenna is kind of the same as I did the antenna in Drill Site Alpha. Nothing new or nothing interesting. In this map, I was trying to stay away from like a mining facility again, but old habits kind of die hard, and I just kind of went with that sci-fi-esque, I mean, like military-esque base or science facility. I kind of want to try to stay away from it, but sometimes you can't, because I did pick a very, very like niche theme. Sci-fi kind of just goes, it's either about space or about planets, or it's about aliens, or it's about like a mining facility. Like most science like games that I know kind of do the same idea, so I try to stay away from it. The water planet land will kind of be a little different too. I'm not going to make it more like it's not going to be a science facility, it's going to be more like a city maybe, so like capital city but in the water. I have some ideas for that map, kind of. Well, regardless, I shouldn't be talking about that map. We're on Argon Outpost. So here I'm doing some utilities and pathways. So I made a restaurant over across the water. I think it's always good to, when you have a new land, body of water always is a good like anchor point to kind of exit the land. It's pretty cool. So I did water, and just details. So each land has a restaurant in it at least, and then restrooms, and then 3 to 4 rides. This land I think has the most rides. So it has Icebreaker, the floorless coaster, Top Scan, Skyfall, and a car ride. So that's 4. Is that no? It's the same as Nova Kingdom. Nova Kingdom will have 4 as well. That has, yeah. So I don't think it's nothing more. Maybe the Water World will get more rides, but we'll see. Here is a restaurant. So ice cream. Kind of weird to have an ice cream shop in an ice planet, but I don't care. It's ice cream and corn dogs. I didn't put a drink stand. I should put a drink stand in there. Maybe that won't matter to the guests. It might not, because I think ice cream lowers your thirst. I think that's usually how it goes. Because all the restaurants tell you what they will perform to the guests. Like it'll get rid of their hunger or their tiredness, and it also will tell you like what will get rid of thirsty or hunger or something like that. So all restaurants tell you that in the information. Simple blue piping. So it was very useful to do that paint palette that I did earlier. So I kind of just pulled the colors from there and then changed the colors slightly just to get what I exactly wanted. Kind of helps instead of just guessing, because having a visual cue or visual aid like that really is helpful. I'm going to be using that technique more often, I think. I should. So when I'm like messing around or like just building things, you just have a set of blocks ready to go that have like different colors that you want, and then you mess with them. Right here I needed to do a redesign or repathing, because the pathway that connects to Capital City actually goes underneath the coaster station. And so I was like, okay, that was cool, I like that idea, but I need to make more like circular pathing, and I also wanted some path interaction with the coaster, because I always feel like having path interaction with the coaster is cool, and the guests can come around and see what the coaster's doing, things like that. So I kind of worked on moving this line around and adding some more rocks and things to make this planet more, I don't know, organic. I think it's always a good rule of thumb: add a rock here, add a rock there, always. I also felt like this planet needed an alien plant. So usually ice planets don't have plants, but in this planet I am making the exception. So the idea is that this is a yellow like solar plant, so it makes heat like Subnautica, but they only grow near the water. So that's why most of the plants you see here are going to be near the water, and then they're kind of like yellow glowing. And I think that's a cool idea. I just feel like this world wouldn't work without a plant base or something, because all my other planets have a plant or a what was it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking out words. Plants. Plant life. It has plant life. Duh. I'm talking about plant life. I'm not talking about the top scan that I'm building here, or building the station. Very quick station. Kind of matches the main building. I tested out some ideas for piping, but I felt like putting pipes across the pathway kind of felt like industrial again. I'm trying to stay away from that, so it's kind of hard to change themes when I picked something very like in its ways. Sci-fi is kind of just more industrial, or yeah, it's just really hard to kind of branch out. So right here I did a little decoration above the bridge here, right in front of the floorless coaster, kind of just like a supply gimbal or something. But the like the arches kind of support a pipe, so I decided to do piping again, but this time maybe like not as big, not like go across the land. It'll be a very small piping. So I went for a yellow like air pipe. Maybe it was kind of air pipe in the beginning, like it would deliver air or something to the next building, but then I felt like it was too long and snaky looking and not like uniformed, so I decided to just dig into the ground right next to the water. And then as I was like, okay, so it's sucking up water, but where does the water go? And so I was like, okay, where does water go? What do you usually use water for? You use it for steam, you make it for cleaning. So I was like, okay, how about a giant heater? So I don't know, it's just something that kind of just showed itself. I was like, okay, I'll make a heater that just sits here in the plaza that heats up the area. So like if this was a real theme park, it would actually be emitting heat and just kind of like an effect. So I just made a very simple box and then some vents with the cable. Is that like a cable top? It's a cable top. And then add some other accents around it. And then I did one pipe on the side. Yeah, one pipe on the side that just kind of adds machinery to it. And then I did some fog effects right after to give that, it's giving off heat or something. So you see the fog and the cold, even though this area is not cold. It's just, yeah. So I think it looks cool. I kind of think it brings the area together. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing, just making up equipment as I go. So the car ride that I added, this was later on after I built like majority of the land, and I felt like I needed another rides in here. So I decided to build the car ride underneath the icebreaker station, and I felt that that was a cool idea to kind of like mess around with the car ride. Now the car ride only has 3 different styles of cars, so it's old time car without top, and then race car. And I felt the race car was kind of sci-fi-ish looking because it has this like a round front and a spoiler, and it was like, okay, it's like a little explorer buggy. And so we're going to explore through the little wilderness out here. You kind of dive underneath the coaster, you kind of wind around in the environment, and then loop around. It's a very, very short ride, and then you end up back at the station. And I felt like it kind of matches, this is the main science building, so it enters into like a garage lower level, and you have yourself a interesting, I don't know, kiddie ride for the family and the children. So I felt that was a necessary addition, and I liked that at the end because I added, well, I get rid of all this dirt here, kind of fix the land up, and adding that interaction between the coaster and this ride kind of makes it interesting actually. So this is also the first time I ignored the generic tunnels from the game. I didn't really decorate the ones for the car ride because I think the car ride is fine with them. But like with a coaster or a monorail, I think it looks weird, so I usually decorate it or make a tunnel myself. But jumping forward onto building the next monorail station. So this monorail station kind of matches the same themes as the station that's in Nova Kingdom, a round roof, but not as big, so this is a smaller building. And usually, it's always a good rule of thumb, as Silverite would say, you need to add a spire somewhere, and I'm going to add a spire to this building as well, a sci-fi-ish looking spire. Nothing like crazy, but at least all the buildings match in color or match in unity, like with the roofing. So the roofing is your common ground, but then it has little bits of difference, like this little round outcrop here for the front of the monorail building, and then a little tower on the side. And then the tower is going to be like some observation tower with an antenna, or it has a satellite, I think, yes, satellite. And then oxygen tanks, or maybe they're fuel tanks for the monorail. I mean, first of all, this is another planet, so technically speaking, we're supposed to be getting here by rocket, but monorail is how we get there, so it's kind of weird to have a monorail kind of go through the planet. I think it's cool. So now I'm wrapping up this video, and we'll take a quick tour of the progress of the map, and yeah, I will see you in the live playthrough. Okay, here we are in Argon Outpost. So, let's see, containments. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so to show you all some details that I worked on also off camera, because there's some things that things that I worked on, like detailing, and I did some like more rock work. I think that's boring to watch, so you don't get to see it. So here is our lovely little ice planet. So here's the top scan. I forgot to add a restroom, so I just built a restroom on the side of this building. I think it works out really well because I didn't want to build another like little outpost, because I felt like building an outpost here would kind of block the view of the waterfall, and I feel waterfall is your like thing to look at, a nice thing to look at, so I kind of made it that. It was kind of a happy accident. Again, happy accidents are awesome. And then monorail station, and then we got ourselves our food court, and then icebreaker. The coaster changed from orange to blue because I feel like the blue was just a kinder color than the orange, because the orange kind of just yelled at you and it just felt like it was just too much. So yeah, I got rid of it. Here's Skyfall that I put in after I built just very simple shed over the walkway and then queue line. And then I built in the third building, like a radio station maybe of some sort, or observation post. And I think this looks cool that it interacts with the coaster and the guests can walk up to it and sit out here and kind of watch the coaster run. And then the little car rides below here with a small little geyser field. I should put one more geyser down, like right here. Yeah, let's do that right now, because I want it. I want a little geyser, like another one, because I can't. I think 2 is just not enough. So effects, smoke emitter. There we go. We got ourselves a third geyser, so like a steam geyser or something. Because of how the coaster was set, and there's so many things getting rid of the supports, so I felt like building a giant support structure for the coaster. I'm still deliberating on adding catwalks to it. Maybe I'll just add the mod in and just throw it in. But I still don't want to use mods because I don't know. I just feel like making this map without mods kind of just showcase it. But it's okay. I might add catwalks later. But I think this adds more structure to it, and it looks better. And I like that this is the main thing you see out from the parking lot. So here's the parking lot, and you see this out here. So yeah, I think it's cool. So here's Argon Outpost. It's finished. I'm happy that it's finished. So the next thing I should work on, it should be in the next video. So I will be building that coaster that I've been like thinking about. So this be the hydraulic launch coaster maybe. And I think I want to do something with like an alien creature that you go through or something. We'll see. But I'll let you guys go. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.